Welcome back to my vlog. Many people like to know what my day-to-day life is like, so I've done a lot of videos over the years that cover popular topics like my morning routine, which I'll link in the caption. I also put together a video recently that talks about what it takes to be a full-time professional speaker and gave some tips and advice for anyone looking to get into this career. But I still surprise people when I tell them that unless we're on vacation, Doug and I work every single weekday. Sometimes people ask me what I'm up to and I say, I'm working. And then they ask, what do you do for work? Even if they know I'm a professional speaker, they forget that it's a full-time job. We do about 40 to 60 speaking engagements every year, but that doesn't mean that we work only 40 to 60 days every year. Not even close. We work all year round, even in the summer when schools are closed. So today, I want to give you a peek behind the curtain of what it's like to work from home with my husband when we're not on the road speaking. So Doug gets up first every morning, around 5 a.m., and I have caregivers arrive around 6 a.m., which is when I wake up for the day. I'm with my caregivers every morning until they leave at 7:45 a.m., and they're helping me get ready and do my morning routine. When I'm done getting ready for the day, I spend a little time visiting with Doug as we usually go through what our agenda for the day is, and sometimes my mom stops over for a little visit. But after that, I spend time reading, doing my morning devotions. This really helps me start my day in the right frame of mind and keep my priorities in order. My actual workday goal is about 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., but it's actually usually closer to 9:30 to 5:30. So around 9:30, 10 a.m., I jump right into work. There's always something to do. I never have a day where I'm lacking things to work on. In fact, I'm usually thinking to myself, how am I going to get everything done today? I thrive on being busy and having purpose in my day. When I had my accident, I was afraid that I was going to be bored in my new life. So I'm very thankful that that's not the case. I never struggle with boredom. My work gets me out of bed every morning and gives me purpose. Now, while it's true that both Doug and I have our own home offices and we don't leave the house every day to go to work, working from home is not laissez-faire. We are self-employed, which means we have to be very mindful of how we plan out our days. When you're self-employed, you have no one telling you what needs to get done. You are your own boss, and that means it's up to us to get our work done. Now, I love that about being self-employed, which I know is not for everybody, because that's what keeps me motivated. I know that I'm accountable to myself. Speaking is a very competitive business, and we have to stay at the top of our game to continue being successful. Now, a few years ago, I started working with a productivity coach who helped me learn how to stay more organized. She taught me to use Asana to keep track of my tasks, which is a project management tool that I use for myself and my team. And I'll put a link to it in the description. Asana is amazing because I'm a huge list person. I have dozens of lists on my phone at any given moment for things like packing lists and grocery lists and things I need my caregivers to do. But Asana lets me keep my daily tasks organized, prioritize what needs to get done, and delegate things to my team members. Before I used Asana, I just kept a running to-do list, but that really set me up for failure because there was no way I could ever get through it in a day. Now, I put everything into Asana, even small reminders to get things done for myself, and it always feels so good to check them off. Because I have so many tasks to do on a daily basis, I have an assistant to help me stay organized. I tried to do it by myself for a really long time, and it was impossible. I was always stressed out and feeling so far behind. And working with coaches helped me realize that delegation is very important because I need to concentrate on the things that only I can do in my business and delegate other things to people who are good at them. My coach also helped me learn how to train my assistant so I could easily get someone up to speed on what I needed. So every day, I start out by touching base with my assistant. 2 days a week, we meet over the phone or by Zoom, but the other mornings I use Voxer to communicate back and forth, which is like a walkie-talkie app where you can exchange voice messages with people. The biggest thing I do with my assistant is dictate responses to my emails. She writes them, and then I review them and hit send. I want my emails to be in my own words, but the voice-activated software on my computer is only about 90% accurate, so it's very time-consuming to correct it all the time. It's so much faster to speak into Voxer and have my assistant type the emails. Besides, I'm a speaker, so I'm much better at speaking out my thoughts than writing them out. In addition to responding to my emails and handling the speaking inquiries that come in, I also do daily voice exercises to keep my lungs and voice strong for speaking and singing. I also have a daily brain training app to help keep me mentally sharp and strengthen my brain health. Every week, I have around 4 meetings with the members of my team for things like the curriculum and marketing. I also spend time preparing these vlogs, writing them out with my marketing assistant, editing my scripts, practicing, and then recording them. I'm usually working on vlogs about a month before they're going to be published, so I can stay ahead of things. Now, my curriculum is a huge ongoing project. The Power of Path program is a mental health curriculum for students in grades 6 through 12, and we're always adding new lessons and reviewing materials. I work with my curriculum writer and graphic designer on this project. I'm also working, this is exciting, I'm also working on recording my first book for Audible right now. So I squeeze time for that during my free time. So be sure to keep your eyes open for that. I also have pre-speaking phone calls for any upcoming speaking engagements that we have. I meet with every event coordinator or team and go over the details for the day, plus anything that they want me to speak about or include in my message. For many of my messages, I tailor them to the actual event, so that takes a lot of time. I also have to adjust my message based on the amount of time I have to speak, because some events I only have 45 minutes and some are an hour and a half up to a couple hours. So once I have the messages ready for the event, I practice it many times before we have the event. And another part of my work is preparing for breakout sessions, such as ordering materials and working with my team to get everything organized. Marketing materials, handouts, interactive activities that require us to bring things along with to the events. Finally, a huge portion of my time all year round is working on my message. I'm always refining it, adding things in, taking things out, practicing, and learning about new ways of speaking and trends in speaking. I also like to watch videos of other speakers and try to build my skills. Now, I listed a lot of things that I do for work, but I realized that this doesn't even come close to everything I actually do. Every single day is different. Like, for example, sometimes I apply to be a keynote or breakout speaker at conferences. I enjoy the variety of work that I get to do, and I find it all very fulfilling. I grew up in a family of very hard workers, and I'd be completely lost if I didn't have my routines, and more importantly, my fulfilling and rewarding mission that we have with Till 360, fighting for kids. So outside of work, I also have a lot of things that eat up my time that have to happen during business hours. For example, healthcare appointments and dealing with insurance takes up a lot of time. It's almost a part-time job sometimes to keep up with insurance. Things get denied. I have to write appeals. I have to call ahead and see what's going to be covered. And I have to wait on hold for so long. I basically plan on any phone call with insurance to take at least an hour. There are other things that come up, like hair and nail appointments. They're not all that often, but we have to squeeze them in on the days when we're not traveling or speaking. During the school year, traveling and speaking takes up a lot of time, so that leaves even fewer days to stay on top of all of our work and appointments. Every day, I take a break for lunch around noon, which is either handled by a caregiver or by Doug, and then I get back to work. But right now, I have a caregiver who comes for me who's on a work release program from school. And so she's here for a couple days a week from 2 to 3:30 p.m., helping me to get things done around the house. And I'm very thankful to have her here with helping with a lot of essential tasks around the house. But of course, this does take away from some time of my working time. And Doug also works full-time in our business, coordinating the details for all of our travel and speaking. Now that we're with Till 360, he also spends about 15 to 20 hours a week working for them. And then he's also managing all of our budgeting, our taxes for our caregivers, and for our business. And Doug also does all the grocery shopping and running of all of our errands. I did record another video that talks about what Doug does in our work, so I'll link that in the caption. It's changed a bit over the years, especially since we started working with Till 360, but we'll give you more details on what he's in charge of. Now, there are two things that are different in the summer compared to during in the school year. One, we're not really speaking in the summer, so I have more time to really dig into big projects that I don't have time to do during the year, along with the curriculum and making improvements and adding new lessons with my curriculum director. And two, instead of working in my office, I try to work on my deck. Now, Doug teases me that I am not really working, but I will do everything that I need to do inside and then sit on the deck for the rest of the day. I'm still working the whole day. I just love summer way too much to miss out on the sunshine and the warmth. And when work ends, we eat dinner between usually 5:30 and 6, and then Doug and I have some time together in the evening. Then I have caregivers come before bed to help me with my nighttime routine and then slide us out for the night. So that's it. That's our typical day as a work from home couple. Did anything surprise you? Do you have any other questions for me? Leave them in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.